What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly manga chapter review of Boku no Hero Academia. And with this chapter, this concludes the field training arc, but also moves into the next arc that we need to be prepping our bodies for. So, we get a lot of clarification from majority of our characters that have had the spotlight throughout Boku no Hero Academia, getting to see individually what they have done with their training or how they progressed, and some of the characters get their own little highlights. And as we already know, the Bakugo hairstyle was definitely looked into right at the beginning of this chapter. I didn't really mention it much in the last review, but I really gotta mention it now because it was carried over into this chapter. The Bakugo straight hairstyle is just so fucking hilarious, because if you think about Bakugo, his hair is just, yeah, it's insane looking. And then you see it to how his hair is all straightened out with gel and stuff, and then he's complaining about it in the beginning of this chapter. He's like, I've washed my hair and it's not fixing, I can't fix my hair. That's pretty strong hair gel that's been put in his hair, damn. But, kidding aside though, one thing that really stood out to me that just kind of made me raise an eyebrow, and I'm like, holy shit, what happened? Grape Boy says that Lady scarred him in a certain way. Like, in a sense to where he started talking about how he saw the true devil, or demons, in women. And the way he was acting, I'm like, what the hell happened to my Grape Boy? Like, best boy of the series is scarred right now. Like, why the fuck is he scarred? Like, is this some foreshadowing for her character? Or Ochako, since she was also kind of crazy in this chapter, is this some form of subtle foreshadowing? But either way, just to see my boy Great Boy just freaking out and just biting his teeth, he's nibbling on his fucking nails and stuff. I'm like, what happened? I want to know. We need a flashback. We need a flashback to what happened to him. Because that's the biggest plot twist ever. Great Boy not liking women anymore, in a certain sense, just because of seeing something like that. And then we also get progression with Ochako. Like, Ochako's fiery side in this. Like, she has this aura around her to where it looks like she is just about ready to beat the shit out of some people if they get in her way. Like, she's putting up these different stances and stuff. Like, I'm ready to wreck some bitches. So Ochako, once again, proving that she is best girl. Besides Momo. I love Momo. She's a really good girl. But I really like Ochako, as you all know. And to see how in this chapter, too, she was just all fired up, kind of. Like, you see this aura all around her. Looked like she was pissed off, about to wreck some people. Damn, I cannot wait to see her in a serious fight in the future. Like, the last fight we saw her in with Bakugo was amazing. We all remember how great that fight was. And I really want to see Ochako once again in another serious fight in the near future, just to see how she has kind of progressed or tried to use her abilities in different ways, because she's probably done a lot of different individual training to get herself better. But for now, moving on, Izuku. Izuku gets once again more progression as a character, and my god, man, I cannot get enough of this series when it comes to Izuku. Like, Izuku constantly progresses as a character, getting stronger, to more intelligent, to becoming a better strategic user when it comes to tactics against his opponents. I just love Izuku's development so much. And once again, in the chapter, we see very damn good development taking place. We saw glimpses of his ability to go kind of fast in the previous fight he was in with Stain, because if we remember, if we backtrack a little bit, right before the battle began, we saw Izuku enter the alleyway very fast. Like, he bounced off the walls and stuff very quickly. And if you think about it like that, that was kind of showing us that he's kind of learned how to use his power in a way to where he could kind of go faster than he normally usually could before he was using his power. And as you saw in the chapter, when he was leaping on top of buildings and stuff, he's just getting a lot better with using his power and being able to kind of hold his power at 5%. And it just goes to show you progression, a steady progression with his character when it comes to his power and his abilities in general, when it comes to all of his characteristics. And to see that and how people are looking at him like, holy crap, what is he doing? Like, how did he get this, good and all that? Like, what's type of powers that? Like, he was just jumping around like that. And it just goes to show you, in that short span of time, fighting with Gran Torino, he learned how to control his powers to that certain extent, to where he can kind of use 5%. So good job Izuku, once again progressing with your abilities and as a character. And speaking of a character, All Might is about to reveal everything. Okay, I'm going to just have to say this. For All Might to be coming out and saying everything to Izuku, okay? This is like in the 50s right now, chapter 50-something. And for All Might to be coming out already and telling something like this, because this is some very vital information. And I mean, we do need to know. I'm glad we're getting around to actually finding out more about All Might in his past and, you know, the previous All for One. But I want to really say that when this is brought up usually in a manga, especially with a mentor that's kind of been given so many death flags like All Might that he's going to die, usually when something like this happens, you should expect the character to die. Like, especially when you get flashbacks. When you start getting flashbacks of a character, which most likely next week or the week after that we're going to start getting flashbacks with All Might, when you start getting stuff like that, that means the character is getting prepped up for his death. And I'm kind of worried about that. I mean, I think we all can agree we know All Might is eventually going to die. We all know this. He will eventually die. His character's been set up like that since, like, chapter 1. But how do you all feel about this? Because do you feel like it'll happen very soon, since now we're finally getting into the backstory of All Might? Because once everything is revealed about, like, maybe the previous person that hurt All Might, to how he got this power, to what drove him, I mean, many things that we're probably going to learn in the flashback we're going to get, it's probably going to be enough to where we can know that All Might has kind of done his job. He has allowed it to where Izuku has progressed to where he can take the mantle of the next All Might. And I wonder if this means that he will die very soon, but I have no idea. Thing is, though, besides that, Izuku in general, though, he is kind of given, like, the okay or go-ahead by Gran Torino in the chapter. He's like, he reminds me so much of you, All Might. He also reminds me of your predecessor, my friend. And, I mean, he's growing to be very strong. Let's watch over him together. And the way that was done, it was like, damn. They're like, passing the mantle on to Izuku to be the next All Might. And I don't know if Izuku is honestly prepared for that mantle yet, because he's strong, and Izuku is a wonderful character. He's very intelligent, but in terms of being able to be is exactly like All Might, I don't think he's prepared for something like that. And along with carrying the weight of a title, that's something right there is very hard to do, because if you carry on the mantle or a title of someone else that's so well renowned by everybody, that's going to have a lot of pressure. And I personally don't believe Izuku is ready for something like that. And I feel like he has a long way to go before he can finally say he is the true person that will take after All Might. Even though he is his, like, disciple in a sense, it doesn't mean he is prepared yet. But yeah, that's my thoughts. The chapter, though, very good. It was setting up for the next arc. No complaints from me whatsoever when it comes to that. And a lot of good characters got to shine. So tell me your thoughts. How do you all feel about what happened in this chapter? You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.